Hey.
I'm starting to detect a pattern here, Junior.
Reading anything?
Let me guess. You want me to stay away from your daughter?
No. I gave up that exercise in futility.
I told him that you were framed and he wants to help.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be easy. I was framed by the best.
Sit down, Junior. You're looking at the best. Lulu gave me the overview, but if I'm going to get your neck out of the noose, I need the dirty details.
I'm not exactly sure what your angle is here, Mr. Spencer.
I got no angles, John. My casino, pure and simple. You're my partner. I need you up and running, not languishing in some government hotel.
My dad's been through this a million times. This is his thing.
Okay, well, it's not that complicated. I cut ties with my family, and that really messes with my father's plans for my future. He's going to make it next to impossible for me to walk away.
So Anthony pays this guy Carl Purvis to take a beating and ID you to the cops, giving you no options but to go home. At that point, Purvis's memory will start to fade, and so will the case against you.
Yeah, my father doesn't take too well to rejection. There are no lines he won't cross.
Well, if it were easy, you wouldn't need me. And it wouldn't be such a challenge.
Well, it gets more challenging. I don't have an alibi. And the afternoon that I was arrested, I punched a wall after a job interview didn't go so well.
So when the cops came to arrest you for the Purvis beating, you had bloody knuckles.
They're claiming it's evidence to back up their story.
Well, it's not a real imaginative crew Mac has out there.
My dad will be able to turn this around. Right?
We're in luck.
Count on it.
Never underestimate the power of guilt. How's my favorite daughter-in-law?
Former daughter-in-law.
Oh, sorry to tell you, Elizabeth, that once you're a Spencer, you're in for life.
What can I do for you?
Well, we were just over at the PCPD. You know, they've got Lulu's boyfriend in lockup.
Yeah, I heard about Johnny getting arrested.
Yeah, I know what it's like, you know, when people expect the worst out of you, even when you're innocent. Now, I know this Johnny, he comes off tough, but he's really broken up about this, about being a disappointment in Lulu's eyes. Well, anyway, I'm inclined to give the kid a break, you know? And it got me to thinking, this Carl Purvis, what kind of a man is he? Well, do you know anything that would give us a clue why he'd want to do something like this to a nice kid like Johnny?
Come on, Luke, you know the rules. I can't tell you anything about a patient if you're not family.
Elizabeth, I know blood is thicker than Purvis's IV drip, and rules are meant to bend in the face of truth.
Johnny's never even met Carl. It was all a setup. His father had Carl paid to be beat up and say that it was Johnny. Why?
Well, because the kid wants out of his father's business, and the old man ain't having any.
Have you told Lucky all of this? Yes. And? And he doesn't believe it. He thinks Johnny's bad for me.
Let's face it, my son's intentions are good, but he tries to control her choices, the way she lives her life.
Lucky just believes what he wants to believe, even though Johnny's innocent.
Look, as much as I feel for you, I still can't discuss anything. However, I can tell you that when you know visiting hours just began and Mr. Purvis is in room 1014.
1014.
What are you doing here?
Just monitoring your situation. Hoping you'll be reasonable.
Hoping I'll cave.
The longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to get these charges against you dropped.
I haven't changed my answer. I'm not crawling back to my father.
Well, that's pride talking.
It's called having a spine.
Oh, now you got principles, huh? After all those years of being Johnny Bad Boy and Mob Prince who got to do whatever he wanted, you knew you didn't have to pay for it? You had your little handlers following you around, cleaning up after your messes?
I'm done with it. And my old man.
You know what, John? I was a lot younger than you when I saw my father for who he really was and didn't want to have anything to do with him or his life.
And now you and Trevor are a team. Look at you. You look just like him.
Yeah, look at me. Chief legal counsel to Anthony Zaccara with enough power of my own. But my father doesn't put me in a corner or manipulate me. Or threaten to send me to jail if I don't do what he wants. Hey, listen, you can do whatever you want. You can hold out. You can tell all your little buddies in prison how you stood up to your big, bad old man. Or you can use the system to your advantage to protect yourself. Maybe do some good in the process.
Is that what you're trying to do here?
Lansing.
Anthony Zakara's attorney?
Who is this?
Kyle Purvis. Your boss hired me to take a beating and claim it was his son who did it.
What do you want?
Meet me at the Elm Street Pier, or I'd tell the cops what really happened.
That would be a very big mistake.
15 minutes.
That was amazing. I thought when that loser Purvis refused to cave, we'd be dead in the water, but you sounded just like him, and Rick obviously bought it, so...
Tight. Gum drop. Now comes the tricky part. Okay, keep your fingers crossed. Stay out of sight.
That briefcase is full of money. You're wasting your time. All I want is Carl Purvis to remember somebody else beat him up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure you do, Mr. Lansing. That's why you agreed to meet me down here.
I knew Purvis sounded a little funny on the phone.
I want Purvis to back off, or I'm going to take this to the DA.
Knock yourself out.
I understand the DA doesn't like you much. Even though you share a child, I understand she'd like to chop you off below the waist.
Oh, really? With what, Luke? The only person who said anything incriminating during that phone conversation was you. You lured me down here by impersonating a victim of a crime for the purposes of extortion. I mean, the only reason you would have to do this is that your daughter obviously dates John Zakara, which is interesting that you would make a move for pure love like this after you spent years denying the fact that you even had children in the first place.
I don't try to control my children's lives, Rick. Unlike your friend, the psycho.
Look, you made a play for Father of the Year at the wrong time. Anthony Zakara wants his son back, and he's going to do whatever it takes to bring John back into the fold. Anybody who gets in his way is roadkill.